What would be your legacy? How will they define you when you die? Will they say, here lies a great man who fought for everything? What's going on, guys? I'm QDaboss, and today we at the Courtyard Marriott of Westbury. Listen, today's event is Exposure Leads to Expansion, backed by Empowered Dynasty, also sponsored by Mario's Pizza of Westbury. Today we at the Courtyard Marriott in Westbury. Today we're doing a mindset event because exposure leads to expansion. As you can see, guys, come check out the room. They say struggle creates character. So is a man defined by his character because of his struggles. I realized my struggles is what gave me my story. See, my story starts from hard moments and tough times in life when I didn't realize that these were the moments that was building me up to this very moment. Darkness followed me everywhere I seemed to go because everywhere I went, there was trouble. Darkness followed me like a plague, seeing every day that I was destined for the greater things, but yet still I had to get past my darker moments. Darkness invaded my mind to the point where everything I thought about was negative because negativity plagued my thoughts. I thought so bad about life that I never valued life, not realizing that every day is a blessing in life, but still I did not respect my blessings. I gave energy to all my darkest moments. My darkest moments kept becoming my hindrance to all of my results. My results are a reflection of my thoughts. My thoughts is a reflection of my actions. My actions became my results. As you see, the thought, that action, the results. I gave so much moments away to my inner self that I couldn't see that I was my own problem. The mental plague. Allowing your darkest days to be a continuous problem to every single day you go through. But you gotta walk to the light. You gotta realize that everything in life happens for you to become to these very moments. See, it's like coming to a fork in the road. You have to decide positivity or decide your negativity. See, life is faith based on decisions. And every day I chose to follow my darkness. So I look at the light now. No more darkness. Because I'm going to walk towards my blessings. I'm going to be grateful for every day that I wake up. So everybody here today, I want to thank you for coming out tonight, right? Because today is the first Exposure Leads to Expansion, the first Empowered Dynasty Men's Mental Health event. Let's clap it up for everybody in this room today. Listen, guys, I don't know if anyone understands the importance of mental health. You know, a lot of men are suffering in silence. When I decided to do this event, I decided to be vulnerable. And that's something that's not respected or looked at as a positive thing, right? Who would agree with that statement? Raise your hand, please. But today I want everybody in this room to understand, today I'm the shoulder that everyone in this room can cry on, right? Anybody feels a certain way, I'm here. Because it takes strength to show vulnerability, right? So we're going to change that narrative. The whole point is just to show the narrative that's been taught to us has been completely wrong, right? So today we're here to change that narrative, guys. I got some guys that's coming up here today that's actually been very impactful to my life. It's feeling in doubt, we're here for the support, right? We need to teach each other emotional support, right? Society tells men that you only measure as much as you success you have, right? But that's not true. What about the positivity that you give to the universe? What about the men that are better fathers for their children when they didn't have good fathers? What about those men, right? What about the men that had to learn the hard way? What about the men that come from poor starts? What about those men? What about the men that are defying odds? What about the men in the room that are breaking generational curse? So my guys that have broken any generational curse in their family, I want to give you a round of applause. With that being said, I'm going to give you my first guy, Dylan Rex. Give it up for him, guys.
I went through hell and back. I'm 46. My name is Dylan Rex. You can catch me on Instagram at @FortuneFella. You want to see my story, F-E double hockey sticks A, Fortune Fella. I was born with a disability known as Tourette's. Let me just get right into it. I don't got a lot of time to talk. If anybody doesn't know what Tourette syndrome is, it's a neurological disorder, a nervous disorder, that my brain basically creates too much dopamine and lacks serotonin, and those are the two chemicals in your brain that control your motor functions. So I was always, growing up, I was always the elephant in the room. I'm holding it in like hell right now. But when I'm anywhere, I'm like that, twitching, making noise, and when I'm not, I'm sitting there holding it in, going through a fight and a battle in my head. And yet I still I don't want to curse because everything's on camera. I still wake up and I call it a victory. I won today, we all won today, we should be grateful. I look at the glass half full, not half empty. So what gets me by is always realizing there's somebody worse off than me, man. I was blessed with a lot of things. I think I'm very smart. I was blessed with good looks, always good with the ladies. There was always a men that hated me, you know, looking at me, what the hell's wrong with you? So basically what I'm saying to y'all, if you see anyone going through something, they're taking, hey, they're going through something. Don't make fun of them. I hated bullies. I grew up, like I said, I was fighting every day in school. So real early age, about 12, I didn't get diagnosed till I was about 14 with it. So from 9, 10, 11, 12, I was going to see psychs. I was kicked out of every school I was in, literally. I was in a psychiatric center. Finally, when I got diagnosed at 14, prior to that though, they put me on a drug called lithium. So I was introduced to drugs from the doctor at a really early age, which set me off on a hell run. I was basically a pharmaceutical guinea pig. They put me on Xanax, they put me on Klonopin, they put me on Imipamine, they put me on Prozac, they put me on Zoloft, just everything and anything. So the minute I turned 16, I was off to the races trying to do anything just to shut this up. You know, whether it was coke, dope. I was shooting dope for years. I was a maniac. I was in and out of jail. I was doing stick-ups with a gun with no clip. I don't know how the hell I'm here. So anyway, I think though, all that shit that I went through, I mean, there's no successes without failures. It basically made me the person I am today, which I'm grateful because there's a lot of people that don't make it out that. So that's why I'm here, man. If I could touch one of y'all, just one. I mean, if I did it right now, I ain't on no drugs. I'm 46. I know NAAA. I was even on the marijuana maintenance program for quite a while, till about last year, and I finally stopped that because I got a 5-year-old son. I have full custody of my son. My baby's mother is my
Looking at just the pieces of everything, probably feeling the lowest you've ever felt.
Yeah. A lot.
Right. What was the thing to grab onto? Was it a blind, let me just get up, or was there something, some sort of thread you grabbed onto that said, all right, this next second is worth it. This next hour may be worth it?
Well, that's a good question, man. That's a hard one because everyone's different. That's really hard to answer because I don't know what it was. When I guess it's like you said, at rock bottom. I didn't want to die anymore. You know, I wanted to live. I chose life instead of death. And I mean, some people, I mean, they lose their families, they lose their house, they lose, and they never get it. That's a good question because I still don't really have a definitive answer for that. Mm-hmm. In my own head, my own rock bottom was I kept dying, and I didn't want to die anymore. Wow. You know, and I was too pussy to put a gun to my head. You know, I did want to die. You know, that's why obviously I was doing drugs and shooting up, but I guess not dying, just finally I chose life and I was like, I can't live like this anymore. Mm-hmm. But really, I mean, now it's my son, obviously, but before my son, it wasn't my mom. I had nobody to impress. You know, my mother wasn't there, my family wasn't there. So, man, that's a real good, that's a hard question right there.
They say knowledge is power. After today, the brother's going to expose you to a lot of people that could help you. And you hear this thing, you say, man, I could make those changes. It's not knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is power. Because you could get all this information here. You go back, let's say you haven't read a book in 10 years. And you heard, a lot of these guys are reading books. There's a reason they are where they are, that they're reading books, right? And then you live here, and then you go the next 2 to 3 years, you don't even grab a book. You didn't apply the knowledge. But the knowledge was given to you. You understand? I mean, we as a people, we got to start thinking differently. I call it flash, no cash. I'm not impressed with your nice car. I'm not impressed with your designer clothes. But I would be impressed if you have an account, in the event something were to happen to you, you have something to fall back on.
Big fat.
I have somebody that I know, they have a high maintenance score. High maintenance score. Now me, I'm not interested in that. I'm not there yet. Will I get there? Yes, I'm working on that, but I'm not there yet. And I said, wait a minute, how the hell you have a high maintenance score and then you have an emergency for $1,000? You don't have that money. In the meantime, the person you're asking for a loan, that person has enough, but they don't have a high maintenance score, but they could buy 2 to 3 of your cars. That's the discussion I was having with you this week. Right or wrong?
100%.
So we got to start working on our mindset.
Yes.
Society, when I first came in, I was taking notes when you guys were talking about the negativity, the mindset, how society's playing with our brains and stuff like that. Yes, you got to learn to fight that. That's why you need those type of environment, people like you, people that looks like you, that's going to encourage you. I'm a very shy person, super shy. But I work in the field of finance. The company asked me to speak in front of 100,000 people. Listen, I dodge it. I dodge it as much as I can. And at one point, my mentor came in. My mentor, from a financial standpoint, makes $250 a month. When I say $250, not $250, $250,000 a month. He said, how are you going to grow? You're depriving those people of how you could help them. That's not fair. And then I had to go back and think about it. Leadership is everything. And what he's doing right now, there's a bunch of leaders in here, you don't even know you're a leader. Yes.
Sometimes with overthinking, you go overthink yourself out of your own space. You know, sometimes we don't take one step. We think we're supposed to take 5 steps at once. Believe me, listen, somebody got to realize that they got to take the first step. Somebody got to believe they can take the first step. If you don't believe you can take the first step, you'll never take another step. Right? Take the first step. Let's take the first step together. I want to give you a balance. One of my guys, they say it's never about how long you know somebody. It's the impact that they make in your life, right? Yep. I've noticed that some of the strangers I've met in my life actually impacted me so much to the point I realized that this is my mission. This is what God has sent me to do. I genuinely believe that every man should always pursue purpose. Pursue purpose. A woman should never be your purpose, guys. A woman should never be your purpose. Right? A woman can distract a king from realizing that he's a king. And I genuinely believe a lot of people forget they're kings. But this man right here is a king. A brother that has came in my life has actually impacted me to start making moves and start thinking about this land thing, right? So my boy right in the back, Booby, stand up for 2 seconds. Right? Me and my brother Booby is actually doing a land deal right now. And about 20 minutes, like 10 minutes from Duke University, we're doing a build up together. Right? And the reason why we're doing it, this is my brother from the sandbox. I know this guy, I trust him with my life. And I hate to say this, I trust him more than people I actually call family. Blood don't make you family. Loyalty, respect, honor, integrity makes you family. I love you, my brother. So we building up something crazy together in, what's that, what's the sale? No, Durham. Durham, I'm sorry, I missed up 2 words. We're doing something in Durham right now, right? And this guy right here inspired me to understand, and I say this, I build up. Anyone knows me, I do fix and flips. But I never looked into land. And to this brother right here, Lydell, actually brought it to my attention, the power of owning land. You know, and I don't want to steal your word. I know you're going to use it. I want you to say that statement that you said to me that actually rose my awareness. Say that statement. That first transaction. First? No, that's on you. Let's give it up for my guy.
Peace, brothers. Peace. Let me say that one time. Peace, brothers. Peace. I'm amazed to see a group of us gather on a Sunday and do something constructive, talk about something positive. It amazes me to see this happen. The name of this is called Exposure Leads to Expansion. How true is that? Exposure leads to expansion. Anybody in here know me? No. Brian, you?
Yeah, we see him.
All right, you two right here, because I don't really recognize you guys. Where do you know me from?
Oh, yeah.
Came by Q's house to record that on the podcast.
Oh, sure. All right. So he know me from coming by Q House to record a podcast. Where do you know me from?
I know you're my cousin.
And where do you know me from? Life of growing up in Roosevelt. And I say that and I ask that question because it goes back to that title, exposure leads to expansion. In order to grow, you have to put yourself around new things. All of those people that know me already, they know me based upon my reputation. You will not outgrow your reputation. You will be noted for who you are. Your business partner is on the other side of the globe, waiting for you to find him. It will not be in the town that you're from.
Wow. Said that.
You work at the barbershop with Q, right? You, right? Correct? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm pointing you.
Oh, me? No.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'll be enough though.
Oh, you there enough? All right,
Can I
cool.
get a chair?
Anybody, you work at the barbershop with Q, all right. What's your name?
Face.
Face? Mm-hmm. So if Face hits the lotto tomorrow for $10 million, his reputation is he's a barber. They're still gonna say, the brother from the barbershop hit for $10 million. You will not supersede your reputation. So stop trying to impress people locally. Q, I only knew Q now for less than a year. He met me where I'm currently at. So now there's a equal level of understanding. He don't know my past. He only knows what he sees now and what we do moving forward. So that exposure leads to expansion is so true. Put yourself in these environments. Put yourself in these rooms, no matter where you're from. Westbury, Amityville, Wandance, Hempstead, Roosevelt, Uniondale, wherever you are from, go out into the world and find the environment of what you're trying to do. This is not just about money. He spoke about health. This is about health and wellness. This is about mental health. This is about wealth, because we need money to live. This is about all of those things. There's a room. Because if you knew what my upbringing was, you probably wouldn't think I should be standing here. And I don't know. I too, born and raised in Roosevelt. I know your father, Prince Collins. It was a wild, wild west when your father was out there. Actual fact. It ain't too many success stories that came out of that time. Depending on who you asking. I didn't grow up with my father either. But we can focus on that, or we could be the opposite of that. Because I too have full custody of my kids. Anybody in here in their 20s?
A lot of
Wow.
behind you.
How old you feel?
So, I coached Roosevelt High School for 6 years. I was the varsity coach. So, varsity coach, we deal with 17, 18-year-old men, sometimes 16. So if you're in your 20s, you're not too far removed from high school. And I love talking to you because I was once you, right? And depending on your environment of where you came from, right, it's your perception current day. So I don't want to be cliches and say you can be whatever you want to be, which I think you know that, but you won't be more than what your environment has put in front of you. to do. It takes a special mindset to do that. I tell my kids that I coach, you're bigger than Roosevelt. Roosevelt is 1 square mile. When I grew up, I couldn't see outside of the square mile. It was popping. I didn't want to see outside the square mile. Because it was popping. But the shit was popping for all the wrong reasons. But you're responsible for yourself. It's not nobody's job. It's not the community job at the end of the day. Would it be nice if the community kicks in and help? Certainly. But you are responsible for yourself. The man in the mirror is responsible. And make no mistake, everything that, now this pertains to the whole room, everything that you've gotten so far up to this point, you've created. Own it. Ain't no excuses. Everything that I've got, everything that you've got, you've asked for it. You've created it. And you can only change that when you start to accept that. You're in a bad relationship, you put yourself there. You went to jail, you put yourself there, not Nassau County Police. And I flirted with all of those things. I sold it, I stole it. And I ain't proud of that. But when that's what you see, that's what you become. So, there's a lot of different experiences that I've encountered in my life, and I'll speed this up. I always knew that I was special. Anybody feel special about themselves? Right? Because as my brother with the orange hat has said, as a man thinketh. So if you believe that you're special, you are special, right? So as a man thinketh, so shall he become. I always knew that I was special. So I always looked to do higher things than my environment. Though I was from Roosevelt, right? I fell into the trap of what? Sports and entertainment, because that's what was put in front of me. I pursued entertainment. I was able to land a record deal straight out of high school on Loud Records. Anybody older know what Loud Records is? Right? The younger, I'll tell you what Loud Records is. That's home of Mobb Deep, that's home of Big Pun, that's home of Wu-Tang. The kid from Roosevelt with no experience landed a deal there. How did I get that deal? I had to leave Roosevelt. I had to hop on a train daily. At that time, you used to have to shop for a deal. What does that mean? I used to have to take a cassette tape, and I used to have to knock on doors and try to get her, for people to hear me. I had to get out of the environment. I had to hop on the F train in Queens, troop it to the city. My group? Oh, my group was called IGT. We were from Long Island. We've done some things, but that's irrelevant. It's not about the accomplishments of what I achieved of doing it. The point that I was making was that I achieved that, and how I've done that is I had to get out of the environment. Because the environment said I didn't have no business being there. You don't got no business with a major record deal. At the age of 21, $900,000 record deal. What business did I have with that, or even being involved in that? So y'all said kick something. I heard y'all say, Al, kick something. I want to just kick something. I still write it. But you can imagine these days that the message is different, because it's about the growth. As Al stated, it's about the growth. I live in a bubble these days. And what does that mean? I really don't know what be going on outside of my bubble. That's how I'm able to be successful, because I only focus on what I'm doing and what's really important to me.
Take a few minutes now to do a quick breathing exercise, fellas. Yes. All right, so beforehand, let's see if this moves a little bit.
Enough?
All right, now you guys are good. Now we're going to sit down. I'm actually going to move this to the side to the seat here. Beautiful, 3 minutes. Awesome. All right, thank you. Appreciate that, brother. So just to take a little bit of time to express what we're doing. Part of our rambling, so we're on a time clock. I know we're going to keep time for everything. So again, the breath is the most intimate connection that we have to life, right? The breath is the most intimate connection that we have to life. When we our cerebral cortex, which is the front part of our brain, that's responsible for decision making and anything that we know, all the things we need as men. When that portion of your brain is blocked with cortisol is that stress hormone. You can't make decisions, you can't take on new ideas, and anything old that you know, you can't draw on, if that makes sense. The neuroreceptors are blocked. So there's certain breathing techniques that help to de-block those, reconnect them, and it affects the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a small nerve on the back of your neck. So you might hear some like snoring breathing. I'll walk you guys on how to do that properly. When affecting that nerve, it sends a signal to the body to relax all the way through. And ultimately clearing out the mindset, allowing you to see clearly. You hear it, you black out. All I did was see red. It's literally that stress. And what do we see people do all the time? We're literally trying to massage that space. You can't massage it from the outside. It's a chemical combustion that happens on the inside, all right? So thank you guys. Let me put a chair up here. So first things first, proper posture, proper position to seat yourself up. You don't have to be too military high. I would say think about like that Superman symbol. Keep that symbol kind of forward. Relaxing the shoulders. You can have your hands on your knees, cupping the round of your knees. And from this point, close your eyes. I'll guide you through the process. So let's start off by taking one breath in through the nose. And out of the nose, let it go. Now, most of us, our shoulders raised. A lot of us chest breathe. We only take in about 30% of oxygen when we breathe that way, out of 100%. The brain needs oxygen, the muscles need oxygen, the heart needs oxygen. So let's take some time to expand the stomach towards the front of the room when we breathe in. When you breathe in through your nose, your stomach should be going in.
In the nose, out the nose, not out the mouth?
All in the nose.
In the nose, out the nose.
Yes, but with the stomach is going to expand like a balloon. You breathe in through your nose, send your belly button my way. Breathe in. Out the nose. Now, the softer the breath you take, the more oxygen you can take in. Think about a helium balloon, the party balloon. They take a little while to build up. So soften your breath and match it with your mindset. Calm that mindset, calm the breath. Breathe in. Hold it. Out the nose, let it go. Now from here, we'll slowly whisper the word hello. Drop the word and just keep that high. Close the mouth, close the teeth, make that same sound. Now to that same sound, inhale. Nice full deep breaths in and out, belly button towards your spine. Another breath in. Let that breath go. Last one in and hold it. And when your body permits, let it go. Let's hold the space for 20 seconds, folks. We're not all done here. Bring a sense of awareness to your feet without moving them. Your legs, your knees, your lower body, your core, your back, your shoulders, your arms, the neck, the face as a whole. Take a last breath in. Out the mouth, let them go. Open your eyes. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I feel like I can flop.
That was phenomenal. One of my favorite fighters, his name's Israel Adesanya, and he understands breath is everything. But me, as a studying massage therapist, I've seen how breath can physically affect people. For instance, I've seen someone breathe a certain way and they can't stretch to the full extent. But when they breathe, they all of a sudden have much more room in their body. And so when you started to talk, I started to understand, just how powerful that is. I feel really good right now.
So I want everybody to give a round of applause for this brother. Please, make the room shake. Please. Come on, let's get it, baby.
thank you all for having me. I'm truly honored to be here. As Q mentioned, I was in a session before I got here. I'm a mental health therapist by profession. Currently getting my PhD in clinical counseling. So, I was actually fortunate to know about this through one of my close friends, business partner Ray, right here in the red shirt. We actually knew each other from working together, been making money together. So just to piggyback off of a lot of what was said today, and even from the recent speaker, my brother here, about the circles you're in, right? The rooms you're in, the environment you have. I think that plays one of the biggest roles in mental health, right? A lot of the times we're not with the right people, we don't know the right crowds to choose from. Our environment just forces us to do this and do that. It's hard to kind of focus, right? Especially being in the city, being in New York, it's really easy to lose your concentration, right? So that's where I come into play as far as mental health. My focus with mental health is I'm not the average therapist. I focus on meeting you where you at. And the reason I say meeting you where you at is because everybody has a unique experience that we all can relate to, right? I can't say that, oh, I know what you're talking about, I understand. Going back to what you said earlier, right? Empathy, sympathy. Being empathetic is being able to say, yo, I see where you're coming from. I can meet you halfway. Sympathizing and say, I understand, I've been there. And not everybody can say that, right? So me being here, I want to answer more questions, but I'm going to speak a little bit more about me, and then I'll get into mental health, and I'll take it from there. But for myself, I was in the environments before I got into school, right? I'm Nigerian. My name is Takumbo Joseph. Me being Nigerian, my parents forced us to always seek education, right? So I grew up in Queens. I'm from Queens. As you can see, I don't know anything about Long Island. I only know about Long Island because of Ray and Q. I don't know anything about here, but when you challenge yourself, you want more for yourself. It doesn't stop at any age, any profession, no matter how much money you're making, what you're doing, keep going. That's what keeps the mental stable, right? That's when we live for purpose, we keep on going. As all the panelists here mentioned, we all have a purpose that keeps us going. That's partly what keeps us sharp mentally. I gotta get to it. I gotta wake up. I gotta grind, right? I gotta figure out something. I can't stay put. I grew up in Laurelton, Queens, and I went to Hillcrest High School. I went to school in Jamaica Avenue. I had friends from the projects. I had friends from everywhere. And I was doing things with them. I was with them. I was places where I did not need to be. But then I realized, like the brother said earlier, my mother told me, you know where you came from. When you leave this house, you are a representation of this house. No matter what bullshit you do, you still represent this house and its last name. So I'm like, all right, let me challenge myself. I lived in Queens. I was working in Roosevelt Field Mall, 2 hours away on the bus. Right? I had no business out there, but I'm like, if I stay in the hood, if I stay in Queens, if I stay in Green Acres, I'm gonna get into some trouble, right? I know myself. I know how I am, right? I want to fit in. I want to be cool. And I was at a point in my life where I had to choose to deviate from that. One of the hardest choices ever. I went to college. I went away. I found a fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, like my brother Al right here, right? I purposely took the attempts to make those challenges, right? To put myself out there. It wasn't the easiest thing because people clowned me. Yo, bro, you wildin'. What you doing going to college? What you doing? I'm like, yo, I don't want to be here forever, right? I want to see more. Being part of the fraternity taught me more, and ultimately, mental health-wise. Do you know how hard it is for us as black men to go seek therapy? Even me, a therapist with a therapist, right? You would think that, oh, this dude got it figured out. No, nobody has it figured out. To be honest, the most successful people statistically have therapists. They just don't talk about it. Yes, sir. So that's the importance of mental health. I want every brother here to take your mental health serious. I can't stress it enough. I speak with clients that deal with all kinds of things, and you would never imagine, and they would never imagine that they would be needing mental health treatment. Nothing is wrong with it. It's actually the new cool, right? When you're able to go somewhere and say, yo, I was able to go vent to my therapist.
Made a significant impact on various industries. He's a motivational speaker, club owner, barbershop owner, social media influencer, published author, real estate construction company owner, one of the top house flippers on Long Island. Millions of views on YouTube, TikTok. He's inspired and empowered people from all walks of life to reach their greatest potential. He has created a vibrant lifestyle, a vibrant nightclub scene, providing a top-notch grooming service through his barbershop and leveraging the power of social media to reach a wider audience. He's a true Renaissance man, leaving a positive impact wherever he goes, an example of what is possible with hard work, self-belief, and never giving up on your dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, QDaboss.
I want to give y'all a round of applause. I want to give y'all a round of applause. Listen, my barbershop has been a place where I've learned how to develop my comfort. I was a very insecure man. Very insecure. Scared to speak. Anyone that knows me, Terry, Booby, I never would have thought I'd be doing this. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. Very timid, but always aggressive, right? Very hyper-aggressive. And that was my way of hiding my insecurities, right? Most people you see, their aggression is hidden behind their insecurities. And I hid mine, but I didn't realize that I was somebody before I was somebody. You gotta believe that you're somebody before you become somebody. The problem is we second guess ourselves. It's always the person that's on the bench that's laughing at you for missing the game winner. But we don't realize that the person that missed that game winner was at least, he had the confidence and the courage to take the last shot. And somebody in this room is scared to death to take that last shot. That ball is in your court. I realized that my life was determined by my actions, my decisions, not by my mother's start, not by the fact that my father wasn't there, not by the fact that I've been to prison. None of those things matter. Because I realized at the end of the day, it was on what I wanted. I was willing to make every sacrifice it took to get where I wanted. My mother, I got into real estate because my mother foreclosed on our home because me and my brother played around with the money we made. We chased girls, we had fun, and all we did was waste money on cars, jewelry, and clothes. That's all we cared about. When my mom was foreclosing on her home, I chose to chase behind material things. Material. But not watching my mother suffer. My mother suffered. My mother's a very prideful woman. Very prideful woman. She never said anything. But she suffered in silence. Like most people in this world. They suffer in silence. We scared to be vulnerable. We scared to allow people to see us at our rawest form. But I don't give a damn about someone judging me, about seeing me in my rawest form. Because I'm comfortable. I can walk around naked and not worry about what no one thinks. And I ask, how many people are confident enough to walk around naked? Most won't even do it in their own home.
That's right.
In their own home. So when you look back at the fact that my mom foreclosed on her home, I realized at that moment, I said, I'm gonna take your pain and I'm gonna turn that into motivation. Every day I got up. I worked in my barbershop 10 days a week. Anybody understand what that means? They work hard. Raise your hand if you understand what 10 days a week means. I worked 10 days a week. I had blisters on my feet. I would soak my feet every weekend because I stayed on my feet so long. Every day I was willing to stay on my feet. And a blister was less than what I saw in my mother's pride. A blister is nothing comparable to watching your mother lose the asset that she worked so hard to save for. My mother said a statement when we was kids. I would rather a basement apartment in a nice neighborhood than a mansion in the hood. I never knew what she meant by that when we were younger. In my mind, I'm like, why would we want the bigger house? But she didn't realize that. She realized early that it was the mentality that comes along with that big mansion that her kids was going to be exposed to. And I didn't realize at that moment we were exposed to a lot of wrong things, a lot of wrong beliefs, a lot of wrong behaviors. I didn't learn this behavior from my mother. I learned it from my environment. And I'm not making an excuse, but again, if you're not exposed, you don't even know you're wrong. But most tough guys are falsified by the fact that they're insecure as hell. Some of the most confident kids is who said they were willing to walk with that instrument. That kid that walked past them gangsters with that instrument, he's the real gangster. Because you know why? He knows who he is. He knows. And all of us are picking on him, you know why? Because of our insecurities. Ours. We go to our homes and we're not happy with what we see, so therefore we reflect, or we project rather, how we feel on others. My insecurities. My insecurities. And I told my mom, I said, this day you cry. My mother cried the worst cry I've ever heard in my life. In my life. To this moment, it makes me want to come to tears thinking about the cry. I told my mother, this will be the last day you ever look at me and said, I'm disappointed in you. I promise you're going to be proud of me. I promise you. My mother moved above my barbershop. To those who go to my barbershop, raise your hand if you know my mother moved above my barbershop. I put my mother above my barbershop when she foreclosed on her home. I moved my whole family above my barbershop. Me and my son, I was going through a divorce, and I was getting custody of my son at the same time. I literally moved into a room with me and my son. A room. A room. I said to my son, don't worry about it. This is going to be nothing. This is temporary. I said, this is not permanent. If you see me tear, it's tears of joy. It's not crying. Joy. I looked at my son, I said, I promise you, you will not sleep at the foot of my bed forever. I said, Mom, you will not stay above my barbershop forever. I took my mother to her house. Before that, I used to go to Garden City. I used to live in this house every week. Tuesdays, yo. My day off is yo. Face my day off is face. Every Tuesday, I would go sit at this house and look at this house. The house had big double doors, had a wraparound driveway. It was so big, I would just stare at it. Remember those days when you played that? That's my car? I played That's My House. I played that with myself. I would sit in the car and just look at the house. So I'm gonna get a house like that. I'm gonna get a house like that. I took my mother to a house. My mother said, I don't like that house. I was like, why are you arrogant for someone that want to get out of that barbershop, right? My mom said, I don't want that house. I said, okay. I took my mother to another house. My mother said, I don't like that house. The house I knew my mother wanted was the house I told her I wanted in my dream. My mother was denying the houses that I was shown her because it wasn't the house of my dreams. A lot of us stay around dream killers, would you agree?
Yes.
Black clouds. People that are scared of you becoming the best version of yourself. Because there's a phobia, and I know you can validate, it's called the fear of losing access. People fear losing access. They're used to you being a certain way. They don't want you to change because they don't know how to relate to you anymore. So my comfort level is here. In order for me not to make myself uncomfortable, I gotta keep you here. You have a conversation with a small mind, guess what happens? They give you a small conversation. Right? They're gonna project how they feel about themselves on you. There's someone in this room right now that's sitting here knowing for a fact it's time to step up for themselves. It's time for you to allow life to stop whipping on you and beating on you. Because I'm gonna tell you something, I grew up in a generation it wasn't about if you could fight. It was about if you're willing to fight back. That's the person we respected. I still respect the person that's willing to fight back. And somebody needs to start punching back. As life hits you, fight back. Because you're gonna lose a lot of battles, but guess what? You haven't lost the war yet. Let me say that again. You'll lose many battles, but you haven't lost the war. The war is over when you die. The war is over when it's completion. God is waking you up for a reason every single day because He knows it's more to your life. He knows that you have something you have to complete. And my brother, you said something about your parents. You might be the person that came along in your family to break curse. It's something called generational curse. Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
Everybody here got some kind of generational curse in their family? I got substance abuse in my family. I got poverty mentalities in my family. I got scarcity. I got FOMO, the fear of missing out. I got all that in my family. I went through every emotion possible before I was able to see anything that I felt like I deserved. Every emotion. I went through fear, second guessing, wondering what people are going to think about me. I went through all those emotions. Every emotion you can imagine, I met it at this door. And then guess what I did? I knocked and told Fear to come outside, let's get it. Because I already know you coming. So I might as well meet you at your door. I'm gonna tell you something, most fights that you see right now, who would agree with this? Most fights happen when you're younger, is with people who get encouraged by an entourage of people, right? Yes. But if you meet that person at the door, guess what? They're less likely to fight you. So guess what? I knocked on the door of Fear, said, come outside. Let's get it. Because I know it's coming. I knocked on the door of scarcity. I said, you might as well jump in. It knows what you're scared of, eh? It knows. It knows. Because we say it a lot. We turn around. The devil is real. The devil is real. He's a goddamn liar too. He's a goddamn liar. He done told you ain't worthy. Who the hell is him to say that? He's not my creator.
Talk, brother.
Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We've allowed the devil to falsify our minds into believing that we're not worthy. But the word impossible itself says that I'm possible.
Yeah.
Just say with your chest, I'm possible. I'm possible. Louder. I'm possible. Louder. I'm possible. You got to believe that you're possible, because nothing is possible if you don't believe that you're possible. How can someone believe in you more than you're willing to believe in yourself? How can I trust you when you don't trust yourself? How can I invest in someone who don't want to invest in themselves? How could Calvin help someone who's not willing to open a book? How? How does that make sense? How? There's somebody in this room that's going to tell us testimony. My boy mother came in the shop one day, and she was diagnosed with cancer. And she told me before she told him. He's in this room right now. She took me in the back. Face was there. Said to me, whatever you do, be the best you, because my son looks up to you. This is what mother. You know what she said to me, Fred? Every day I inspire myself to be the best, because that was my last promise to that woman. I said, I promise you, I'm going to give Freddie something to look up to. She said, my son adores you. And I said, I can't lose. I can't fail. I was a good friend of mine. It's your right decision. To your left is the consistency of you being who you were yesterday. But the beautiful thing about the next day is God has given you something called a reset. He allowed you to see another day. So somebody in this room right now needs to start going that right direction. But I'm going to tell you something along that road. There's not going to be a lot of people that you want on that road with you. It's going to be a lot of loneliness. A lot of loneliness. But I'm going to tell you something about along that road, and I will do this journey again. I told my boy Ted is one of my childhood friends. I told him I had to get away from everybody when I came home from prison. He said, why? I said, because I was second guessing myself. I still wanted to go back to the streets, I still wanted to go back to the streets because I knew how to get money. So I said I had to isolate myself. I had to get away from everybody. I didn't want to have no conversations. I didn't want to talk to people. People thought I was weird. They told me I was crazy. But they say he who laughs last always laughs the best. You laugh the best. So I'm laughing right now. So when you see tears, it's tears of joy. So I realized at that last moment of me deciding to pursue my greatest version of myself, I was willing to be alone. I was willing to be alone. I didn't want to be a pack animal anymore. We'll keep running this thing up, making this thing crazier and crazier every year. Every year we're going to random room out, we're going to pack it out, we're going to make our men. We're going to work on one set at a time. Keep winning. I love you more. You make choices. Having choices are what defines you. At the end of the day, when you look back at yourself, you get defined by your choices. Every man and every woman, you make a fine. That's right. You understand. You make one choice. It was amazing.
This event, this so far, I've never been to a men's mental health ever, but like this one really showed me that Men really need to open up. Men need that space together. We always celebrate, oh, women getting space, kids getting space. We never celebrate the men getting space. We're just told we have to work to death and, you know, our feeling, just suck it up and be a man. But this event told me right here, this felt better than any church service I've been to.
Yeah. Listen, man, Al Taylor, man, one of the speakers for today. Let me tell you something, man. This was a great day. This was a great time. You know, to be able to pass a positive message off to a bunch of young brothers that came here to absorb that information. So, I mean, I felt like I got a lot out of it, not only being a speaker, but being up there listening to other brothers really talk about their story, to talk about what they've done, to talk about mental health, to talk about those kind of things, man. So at the end of the day, I'm glad I was here. I'm glad I had the opportunity to be a part of this. Q, yo, you always a cut above the rest, brother. Like that, I appreciate you with all my heart, man, and I look forward to the next time we come together and do this. Just remember, exposure leads to expansion.
Yo, this is Q. Q's my guy, known for a minute now. He's the best. This was a great event. All of these words came together, spoke their truth. I learned a lot today, and I met a lot of influential people who really want to see change, mental change in the community. And it was a great event, and I'm just proud to be a part of it. Exposure leads to expansion. Let's get it.
How you doing, man? My name's Alan West. I'm from Roosevelt, New York. Just came to support my boy Q in his first ever men's mental health awareness, which is very imperative for this day and time. It was a very successful event. We heard from so many powerful, impactful people with their testimonies, and God has truly blessed us to see this day and be able to build one another. Even just the sidebar conversations were something to take home. I just want to say congratulations to my boy Q. This is the first of many, and you know, this is a good journey ahead of us, and we hopefully see a lot more of men coming together to talk about this, because once we're aware, we can conquer the world. And just remember, the exposure leads to expansion. God bless.
You can't point the finger at your past. It's not about the fact that your father wasn't there if your mother didn't teach you these things. It's still a choice.